Everyone to Turkish Philanthropy Forum's Voices of Partners. I am your host, Elmira Bayraslı. I'm excited to bring to you another one of TPF's partners based in Turkey. And today we're joined by two people who I'm really excited to talk to, who are part of the Koruncuk Foundation. We are joined by Oya Aydınlık, who is the general manager of the Koruncuk Foundation. And we were just having a little chat when we were off screen, and she was telling me that she spent time working in the United Kingdom and in Brussels, and she actually received a business degree from the University of Maryland. And now she's working with the Koruncuk Foundation, and I'm really excited to talk to her about what Koruncuk Foundation does and what her big plans for the organization is. Also joining us is Gökhan Adıgüzel. And Gökhan grew up in a Koruncuk köy as a child, and now he's actually doing a master's degree. And he is referred to as a Koruncuk tale, and so I'm excited to learn a little bit more about what that is. He has an MA in political science and international relations, and he'll talk a little bit about his experiences with the Koruncuk Foundation and how it impacted his life. I have to say, I was commenting before we came on. Our guests have wonderful last names. For those viewers who don't speak Turkish, Aydınlık means brightness. And Adıgüzel means a beautiful name. And it's much more interesting than my last name, which doesn't really mean anything. But with that, I'd love to invite Oya Hanım, if you can talk a little bit about what Koruncuk Foundation is. What is it? What's its mission?
Hi. First of all, thanks to TPF for hosting us. I think it's a great opportunity for us to state ourselves. I'd like to state first that I would like to give the greetings and warmest regards of our founders, as well as our board and the chairman, Figen Özbek. And then I'll start talking about Koruncuk. Koruncuk is a foundation that was founded 42 years ago. Its main aim is to empower children to reach their full potential, as you will see how Gökhan has reached his own potential. The aim of the foundation is really to help children who are in need in terms of socioeconomic needs. Our entrance is not based on how good you do in school, how bright you are, but how your family is and the needs that needs to be protected by the children. So Koruncuk is a safe environment to improve our children's well-being. At Koruncuk, we care for children whose basic needs are to access education, and those children who are at risk. We have, before I hand over the floor to Gökhan, let me just give you a brief history and what our aim is really and what we do. We've got two, what we call villages, children villages. To Gökhan, he would like to state as an orphanage because he started when he was 2 with us. We board children today, only girls, middle school and high school girls between the age of 18 to 12 to 19. And they go to school and then they come back to our boarding school. We give them the training they need. We help them out, the food, all necessities. But it's not only a boarding school. We also give them 360-degree support, meaning that we give them 21st century skills, leadership, team working, sustainability, all that needs to be done. And we also, if they're in good in sports, we try to make sure that they got the right attention, arts, and it's really a place of full love and support. And we try to help to make sure that their future is safe and sound. And now we are building another village. Originally, let me just talk a bit, say a brief words about myself. Originally, I'm an investment banker. I worked in JP Morgan for London and Turkey, and then I worked at Standard Chartered London. How I got here is really now we have to go back to society and give that what we have gained. We are building a new village, but I'll talk about that afterwards, what we have done through COVID, etc. But I think the real star of the show is really Gökhan. So let me just hand over the floor to Gökhan and let him say a few words about his life in Koruncuk and what it means to be a Koruncuk.
Great.
Thank you. I'm Gökhan. Hi to everyone. I'm 26 years old, and I have been in Koruncuk since when I was 4 days old. I came to Koruncuk very, very little, and I grew up over there, and I did my all educations over there, like high school, middle school, university, and I'm currently doing my master in political science at Yeditepe University, and still Koruncuk is supporting me for this. So Koruncuk actually is kind of a family, not a kind of, but actually it means to me a family that was over there since I just knew myself. Also, like it's a kind of very big village that I found that place as a kind of orphanage, but like that meaning of orphanage came to my mind when I realized what was happening over there. But as sensitively, I think that it is a family that fed me when I was child, that gave me support for education and all the basic needs that I was needing. And currently, I'm doing my master. So for this, I'm staying in Istanbul. Also, I have like still close relations with Koruncuk, and also they gave me some kind of scholarship and like house needs and etc. Yeah, like this is my life. That's it. I'm a bit excited and I'm a bit nervous because I don't see who see us. That's why I'm sorry for for the misunderstanding.
Okay. We do not give only children support. We also try to make sure that society is protected in the sense that we can protect our children. So we have a member, a founder member of the platform for protecting children and their rights. So we make sure that children are supported. It's not only the children, but we make sure that this platform is a lobbyer for children's rights in Turkey. We also work with the government very closely, and in-house we have got psychologists, social workers. We make sure that we try to aim our children with 360-degree support to make sure that their well-being is supported throughout their years. Something that is very important to me that I'll say and then give back to Gökhan is what he has learned in Koruncuk is also giving back to society. So what he has done is also give back to society in another part of the world. Would you like to just say a few words about your experience in Brazil, Gökhan?
Okay. So when I was young, when I just got to university, during my first year, I was looking for to do something for the society that I was living, because Koruncuk is a kind of a place that really forces everyone to enrich and develop itself. That is why I was also in need of looking for something that could change my world or the environment. So also, like, I know my situation, and I'm a kind of person that would like to help to the people who are like me. That is why I was participating a kind of foundation that is called Isaac. and it's a kind of very big volunteering program that sends people out of the countries to other countries to see and help. So I went to the Brazil with that foundation, also with support of Koruncuk, and I teach English lessons, and I did some kind of basic education for the children who were in need of something like basic needs in Brazil. And I stayed in Sao Paulo about 3 months. That was my first abroad experience, and one of the far places that I ever been. In that place, I was trying to help to the children who were mostly from 6 to 9 years old. So I was teaching English classes, and I was trying to just touch their lives and try to be someone that can try change their world during that time period. So that is my way to give back the things that I received from Koruncuk to the society. And also, like, I'm currently still a participant of that volunteering foundation, and I try to still do some kind of those kind of works. But right now I'm doing my master. That is why, like, I'm just focused on classes mostly, because I'm planning to do a kind of PhD in abroad. So I got to work a bit for this.
Great. So I want to be able to unpack. There's a lot of information there, and I know that I think, like a lot of our viewers who aren't familiar with Koruncuk, I think I'd love to be able to break down a couple of the things that you said, so we have a better idea of what the organization does. So, Oya Hanım, you said that Koruncuk, it has a village. Can you tell us where that village is?
Sure. It's called a village. It's a children's village. I think it's one of the few concepts, places on the earth where we have got such concepts. It's actually, we've got a middle school and a high school in Izmir at Urla, where we house about 100 children. It's all girls for the moment, because before it was boys and girls. Now it's only girls. At Bolluca, Istanbul, we have high school that we house about 100 kids as well. So our housing means that, each year we go around Turkey looking for children, for girls who are in need of support. So if these kids do not come to Koruncuk or become a member of Koruncuk, but they would be really either girl brides or work at a lot younger ages. But so they come, we choose them, and they do apply, and then we choose them, and then they come and stay with us for middle school and high school. Afterwards, if they go to university, like Gökhan does, we give them support at that age as well. And then sometimes we have even marriages that our Koruncuks has. We give them support at that stage. If they go to military, we help them out as well for the boys. So it's a full-fledged foundation where we, as I say, try to support them as much as possible. We have got psychology. Of course, we have got issues with the children. Psychologists and social workers are working full-time with them. Emir, I think your next question would be about can I just go to COVID-19, or is there anything else that you would like to ask in that respect?
I'd like to give our viewers a sense of, okay, so we have, the setting is that you mentioned that Koruncuk was founded 42 years ago.
Yes.
And it was founded, I'm understanding, in Izmir as these schools. No,
it was founded first in Istanbul. The Izmir schools started 3 years ago. And they're giving services, as we said. We do not only accept kids only from Istanbul or Izmir, but we go around the country making sure that we get the full potential and really the need ones. So those girls could apply. They'll start applying in April right now, for example. And then we'll accept them. We'll go to their places. We'll go check their families, making sure that the needs and the basic our acceptance model is we've got a model, psychological model, where and a sociological model where we check, make sure that they're up to our needs. And they do not have to have good grades. They do not have to have a good education at all. What they need is really a well-being. We make well-being status where they're not in that form in their families.
Okay, so
their well-being is the most important thing for us.
Great. So it's a school that was started in Istanbul and now it has branched out, and really it's a school that's focused on children with needs.
Yeah, the thing is, and we just do a brief correction maybe. We are not a school. We are actually because a kind of a dormitory with full-fledged services. The children go to school around Bolluca or at Urla. We've got 4 to 5 schools. We've got colleges as well, very well educating schools. They go to those schools. In normal days, they would come back to our dorms around 4 o'clock. We've got teachers, psychologists, dances, ballet classes, everything that you need. 21st century skills training is very important for us. We've got maker studios, and then they go to their dorms, etc. During the holiday times. Like 2/3 of them go back to their families, but some of them cannot go back to their families because either they don't have a family or their family is not able to support them. But in that case, if their well-being is good at their families, they go back to their families for the holiday periods, and then we help them out socially and monetary wise at their houses.
Okay.
Also, I can also want to also add some more information if it's that possible.
Sure.
Because as a person that grew up in that village, I just say that I just came to the village when I was 4 days old, and also I don't have family, I don't have mother and father, so I never ever return my house during the summer or on vacation days. It's a kind of place that gives the family senses, basic needs, and there are some 12 houses. We call it houses, but you can understand as a dormitory, that we stay over there and we do our normal things like many of the people they do in the house, like eat, sleep, spend some time with the brothers and sisters, and also go to the schools which are in that neighborhood or a bit far away to the village, and then come back. And it's a kind of a neighborhood that provides everything to the people who are in there as children. And it's a kind of a houses, a kind of a commune of houses that has everything, like a theater, a facility, a music room, the things that you don't have in your houses but you have in schools are provided in the village. So you just go to outside for getting the education from the government or state schools. Yeah, just wanted to add this because it's a very complicated thing to explain. That's why I wanted to give some more information. I couldn't hold myself.
Emre, as you see, the person that experiences stated a lot better than the executives. So Gökhan is our star today, definitely.
Okay, great. So, why don't we go on to the next question? Because I don't think it helps when I try to summarize anything. Maybe we can talk about what the effects of COVID on the Koruncuk Foundation has been.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we are one of the, when the COVID started, the Turkish government decided that all the schools were closed. So we sent most of our children who could go back to their houses. But then we had a special agreement with the government where we said, sometimes the well-being of the children are not good at their families, but with Koruncuk itself. So they 2/3 of the children came back to Koruncuk villages, and we are the only dormitory or the orphanage, whatever you want to call it, who was still open during COVID times. In Turkey right now, the schools are still closed. All schools, they have opened a bit, ninth grade and I think 12th grade for the exams, but they've been closed also for 2 months. Now they were thinking about how to open them. But so they're there full time and we give them support. If they went back to their families because their well-being is fine with their families, if they went back, we supported them, meaning that we provided internet services, laptops, tablets for them to be able to access their schools. Our teachers call them on by daily basis. Our psychologists call them weekly, and we make sure that if anything happens, we're there the next day. So we give support even if they're with their families or with us at the Koruncuk villages in Orla and Bolluca.
Okay, great. And how has Koruncuk worked? How did you get in touch with TPF, and how do you work together?
Just before going to that, Gökhan, how have you handled COVID-19 as a Koruncuk?
As a big Koruncuk, I guess.
As a big adult Koruncuk.
Adult Koruncuk. I don't have the chance to return to the village because of my age. I'm 26. But like there were people that I grew up together. So like they are my best friends at the same time, and they are my family. So most of us, we just have each other, only person like as family. So like we gather together, and sometimes we spend like 3 or 5 days or just whole lockdown periods in our houses. And we were trying to comfort each other because we just have ourselves. And on the other hand, Koruncuk also like still supporting me during the COVID period. It also gave me like a lot of things that I was needing, as scholarship or some food, some kind of basic needs. Yeah, I struggled a lot because of like everyone struggles during this period. But I'm trying. We tried our best to be okay during this time of period, like with my friends, and I call them like sisters and brothers. Yeah, and still like I'm sometimes living with some of them like for a couple of days during this time. Yeah.
We have, I mean, thanks to TPF, it's a great supporter, and TPF has been a great supporter of Koruncuk throughout the period. Throughout the years, I think our our cooperation and collaboration have started many years ago. Lastly, what we have done is we had to support the children who are in need and who in their families. We had special boxes to be sent to their homes, their basic needs, as well as if there's no internet, etc. So, and we had done a special pack of need, and that has been also provided by TPF very very nicely. And we have always been good partners with you guys. So, and I'm very glad with that. And as I said, I think this hosting would make a big difference as well for all of us, for getting to know better the TPF founders themselves, and also for them to understand what Koruncuk does and what's the difference between Koruncuk and other foundations in Turkey who are supporting children.
Okay. Can you talk maybe a little bit about some of the current projects that you have that you focus on?
Yeah, Emir, as I said, originally I'm an investment banker, and I started in Koruncuk in November of last year. And when I started when I talked with the board, and they said that you have a now full-fledged project where we are building a boarding school for middle schools that would grow the capacity by 40%. You know, to me as a banker, I said, Arvinat, you know, doing this project in the middle of COVID-19 with economic crisis, especially in developing countries like us, then, you know, I slept over it. And the next morning I said, now I got to change. I'm not a banker anymore. And whatever, if we don't do that as Koruncuk, those children would never have the protection and the economic rights that they should be having. So, you know, we are going to be sending some videos to you guys to share with our TPS founders. And we are really asking for you to build, to put a brick on our wall. It's very important that those girls, you know, that we do that on timely basis. They're able to start the middle school next year. And, you know, even in this crisis times, it's very important to give back to society. I think COVID has helped in that sense. You know, when people stay at home and think, maybe they'll go back to themselves and ask what we have done, what I have done throughout these years. And it's the same thing for corporations. Even at you look at an annual report of a corporation, what they have done as social work is very important. And I think people are a lot more conscious in that sense, that, you know, when buying something, if there's a sign on it saying that 2% will be provided to Koruncuk, makes a difference, and people are changing in that sense. And with that hope, we are building a full-fledged building for our girls for next year. Hopefully, TPF and we are giving names to the rooms. I'm sorry, giving names to the rooms. You know, that the girls would stay in, to the kitchen, to the sports areas, to the hospital that we are building. You know, a small hospital that we are building within. And if we can provide the funds, there'll be a big TPF fund or any other thing that you would like to state on our walls.
Great.
So the idea is really to be able to fund this new school, this new boarding house that we are building.
Okay, so I just want to understand. So the project that you're working with TPF on is to fund a new building.
Yes.
Okay, great. And I know that we'll run a banner momentarily so that our viewers can support this new building that the Koruncuk Foundation is hoping to build for girls in need in Turkey, which is really a very commendable goal. I just I guess want to understand. It wasn't very clear. So, because of COVID-19, are there people staying in the dormitories?
Yeah, 2/3 of the girls. I mean, they've gone back, but now I can say that with the back to school project, with the back to school, you know, COVID-19 numbers going down, 2/3 of the girls have come back to our dormitories. I mean, if you look at, you know, at our expenses, it's not really gone down when they were back, because we supported at their houses. You know, we provided Wi-Fi services, tablets, PCs, and food as well if there's a need. So for us, nothing has changed. It's just a placement. But as I said, 2/3 of those girls are back at our premises. And it's not a life that's very pleasant, because they cannot go back. We cannot do all the social things that we are used to doing. You know, they're having school through like Zoom, like all of us. And we make sure that their psychology is good, and they're in good health in that respect as well, which is not easy times for any of us, actually.
Okay, great. So viewers can support. You can see the enthusiasm of Oya Hanım and Gökhan for the Koruncuk Foundation, which is really wonderful to see. And You can donate to donate.tpfund.org, and you can see the campaign that Koruncuk they have up on the website. It goes clearly to the building of a building, but because the program is focused on girls with needs, you just heard that there are girls currently in the dormitories and they have needs with digital devices because we're all learning remotely. And so Koruncuk Foundation is providing much needed support and services to young women in Turkey who are our future. And so we really need to get behind them.
We are trying to have as many Gökhans as possible. Because to be able to touch somebody in that sense and to be able to make change a person's life is really important. I wish you could come and see the girls that we have and more Gökhans that we have. Gökhan is one example of the many Koruncuks that are out there. And then I'm sure. I think I'm going to do my mission when one of the Koruncuks is sitting at my seat. Being able to run as an executive the foundation, that should be the aim of the foundation.
That's great. Well, great. Well, thank you, Oya Hanım and Gökhan, for joining us for Voices of Partners, and thank you to our viewers for tuning into another episode of Voices of Partners. We'll be back again talking to more of Turkish Philanthropy Fund's partners. You can always visit the TPF Fund's website and find out more about organizations like Koruncuk Foundation and the many others that we talk to. So Oya Hanım, Gökhan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Emre. Thanks for having us, and thanks for all the support that you've given us throughout the years.
Such a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you.